Hi Sunshines! This is episode 1 of Can I Craft It or Will I Crash Out? Since this is my very first craft I'm working on, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm starting off with this adorable Snorlax Si-gu-mi? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time I've said that, so I'm not sure, but Si-gu-mi, that one of my siblings picked up when they went to Japan last year. It's basically paper art, so it's kind of like a 3D puzzle that you can assemble. Now, the front of this says that the difficulty level is a 2 out of 5, so we will see if that's true or not. First off, they give you the instructions in English and Japanese, which I'm incredibly grateful for because the first instruction literally says don't remove all the parts beforehand, which stopped my urge to pop all the pieces out. I realized, at least for this one in particular, they aren't labeled, so I would have had to have gone off of vibes only if I didn't read that part. The diagram in the booklet has the pieces numbered, so you have to go back and forth to figure out what pieces are which. For that reason alone, I had to knock it down a point because if pieces fall off, it's game over, literally. So here I am trying to assemble the first few parts, and when I tell you I was on the struggle bus. I was on the struggle bus, and I was on that bus for a while. I kid you not. The instructions do warn that it is easily breakable, and you may need your own glue to prevent pieces from falling off. So if you have a heavy hand like me, this may not be the craft for you. Some parts I had a hard time pushing in the pieces because of how small they are, and if you don't align it correctly, the future pieces will not fit because of it. As you can see here, I put one of the pieces on backwards because one side was smaller than the other and I did not pay attention to it. So I had to take it all apart and turn it around because it was a main piece that literally held everything together, and when I tell you, I wanted to crash out once I realized it. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. God loves America. Okay, I broke him. Okay. You know what? Let's have a crash out timer to keep track of how many times I crashed out during this craft. Let me remind you that this was supposed to be an easy and relaxing first craft, and I highly underestimated my ability to handle small pieces. Please note, this is 100% a me problem, but if you have a short fuse like I do, get ready to rage. Some of the pieces kept falling out because you don't add the secured pieces on until a little later, and that drove me up the walls, as you can see. Once again, it's a me problem and I'm working on that. So my question to you is, should I go to therapy? Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. But am I too broke to afford it? Abso-freaking-lutely. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna rage. I'm gonna rage and work through it while crafting. Is that healthy? No idea, but welcome to my life. If you'd like, we can rage together because this reminded me of whenever I put IKEA furniture together, which is literally almost 80% of my apartment. I'm not even gonna lie. The instructions have no words, just pictures, just numbers, and a piece of me that I will never get back because I will officially lose it and chuck everything out the window. But once again, that's a me problem and I'm working on it, okay? Anyways, this little piece was a pain in my ass, but we got through it and we fixed our problem. I love the fact that he becomes 3D-ish. I absolutely love Snorlax. He's my spirit Pokemon 100%. All I do is sleep and eat because that is all I have the energy to do at this point in my life, and I'm okay with it. Here's the final crash out, ladies and gentlemen. I unplugged the turntable from my computer, which in turn slapped my Snorlax into my keyboard, and he lost a piece of his stomach or his back. Honestly, I have no clue at this point. I'm just gonna put him in a safe spot before he becomes a pile of flat pieces again. Please excuse the dustiness over here. It's in a corner of my room that never gets touched. Also, I fear breaking my Legos, so I don't dust them either. If you have tips on how to keep them dust free, please let me know. And there you have it. My first craft, I would say, is a success. Some tears were shed, but we made it through. I would agree that the difficulty level was a 2 out of 5. Not the worst, but also a pain in the culo, if you know what I mean, okay? If I had to grade myself, I'd give myself a B+. I'd give myself a B+. I took some points off for flipping my craft off a few times, but overall, I think we did a great job. We finished it, and that's all that matters. Tune in next week for another Can I Craft It or Will I Crash Out? See you guys next week. Bye!